set my own trusty watch here and put it on stopwatch. You can go an hour starting now. If I go over, because somebody asks questions. But I tell you, I'm glad you're here. And we can take probably 30 minutes to do introductions, tell about people. And I tell you, we got some great people here. But I'm going to bypass that because I want to get through some information. I want to get through God's Word and get us all on the same page. That's my purpose. And we'll do this seasonally. We'll meet corporately in August 13th. I think we're going to have the supper that evening in Walt Wiley, and all our families will be there. So I'm looking forward to that. You know, I will give a shout out quickly to Dave Garrett. Dave, he's an inventor, innovator, toy designer, but he helped design this logo that we've got right here. So you'll see that on the shirt that you'll get August 13th. So thanks to you. Also, we went long sleeve on the t-shirt this year. Thought about a couple of my brothers. I know Cranford was just real big on that. We got something different this year with this. So you coaches will be getting one of these. And on the back, it's got our theme, and I'll be sharing that tonight with us, and even more so as we move forward. But and we get a collared shirt as well. So I want you looking good. If anybody says, "Well, maybe my coaches don't look good," then please let me know, because I don't really that offends me. I want us to look good. You know, I've always felt like, you know, hey, if we don't play good, we won't look good. If I don't coach good, at least I won't look good. So I do want to do this. Let's begin in prayer, and we'll get started. Father God, I'm so thankful for these folks. Lord, without their input, this athletic department would not be as strong as it is. God, each part of the body makes up a special part. God, there's so many teams represented here tonight, Lord. You know, I had some coaches call who couldn't be here. Father, I pray you bless them. Lord, as we spend our time together, Father, we're going to talk about a lot of details of things, but Lord, I pray, more importantly, that your word would burn in our hearts and minds, and it would just soothe our souls, that our spirits would grow at a blue heat, God, to share your love for others. For in your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen. Hey, when you came in, you got a piece of paper in your hand, and actually it was that was a survey that I gave every athlete at the end of the year. So I'm going to go over some of this stuff, and I'm going to read it quickly. But basically, every middle school kid, I held them after chapel and said, "Hey guys, I need you to give me I want you to be straight up honest and real. You got all the time in the world you need." So they were loving that. I said, "You don't have to go back to class, but this is done. I want it done well." And those kids sat there, and all the athletes came together. If you played sports, you came together, they sat there and they did that. I told high school, "Hey, high school, stay after, I need you to do a survey." They came over, and you know how high schools will milk the clock. Man, those kids were sitting there just really doing a great job, and some questions. But I want to show you some results from this survey. And I've got the specifics, like 4-point this and whatever they rated. But I thought it was a very good reflection of us and some good feedback that we can take as coaches. So let me go here. Let me tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about the survey. I'm going to talk about our theme. And I'm going to talk about handbook. Actually, we've got 20-25 minutes. Ryan's going to talk about emergency responses and some other things like that. Coach Gill's going to talk about counter transportation. Matt's going to talk about facilities. If you have any questions after 8, that's your fault. But if you have any questions, you can ask them. We'll close in prayer. And I'll be here till whenever if you got something you want to talk about specifically. Okay? So results of the survey. You can look at the questions. I thought you would. I want you to have the questions. And again, I'll probably shoot all the results out if you want to examine the numbers. If you do, that's fine. But here's some things that were interesting. Scores were generally positive in middle school. All of them were across. Boys' scores were generally more favorable than girls, who did not indicate the character was good. It was interesting because girls said that they didn't feel like their character was really built through athletics. Boys are different. Maybe that's why iron sharpens iron, so does women's kind of women kind of mold each other, men kind of knock each other. Student scores indicate coaches motivate high. I like that. And challenge athletes to be a better person. That's great. But it's interesting, care and love is not as highly comparable. So you can look at the questions, just an observation. In high school, boys' scores were higher than girls, except on balancing responsibilities. But overall, it's really positive. So the balancing responsibilities, boys had a tough time with that. Man, I did. I just thought athletics was more important than anything in school. So I didn't have a problem with that. I think some of the guys, I think here, it is a tough balance. 12th grade girls generally had lower marks than other girls. Might have been a bad day. Ninth grade girls usually had higher marks than other girls. Again, I mean, it was skewed. You can really tell. There was a difference. And service projects had low marks and reflecting like they were unenjoyable or done poorly. That's what some of the kids wrote. So that's the feedback. And I know what's cool is I think yesterday the cross country went and Brett don't share the experience. What was the place where y'all were serving?
Shepherd's Place.
Shepherd's Place. It's an orphanage. They were just given 100-some acres. I think a couple other groups may get involved. I know Thomas had the boys out there working on some. He was able to secure some field turf field, and so we're doing some of those. So I'm hoping that maybe with an intentional effort to make those more important, those that get higher marks from our kids. Middle school observation. Your middle school coach usually said, academic success is more important than athletic success to parents. That's a good thing. We want that, right? We want them to stress the academics. Athletic success is more important than academic success to coaches. That's good. I mean, we are there for academic purposes, but we want them to know, hey, we're here, we want you to do better. So that's what was part for the course. What would have been weird is if it would have been reversed. That would have been something to share. But again, observation. Parents emphasize academics over athletics. Very balanced athletic and academic success for coaches. So again, just some observations. Do you believe that being an athlete hurts you academically? Let me tell you what the kids said. 90% said no. I mean, they're like, overall, like, no. Here's some things that they said. If you keep up, it helps you manage your time, force you to work harder, you balance your time. Again, these are just some of the broad comments because most of the middle school said no. In high school, overwhelming majority no. It makes you better. Time management key. No. It's my own fault. And then I had like one or two yeses because it takes time. So that's good. I wanted to hear that our kids had time to balance their stuff academic. Someone said, oh, I don't want to get my class too much. I've kind of dispelled that myth over the years. You guys have helped me because we've shown that when I get grade reports, I shoot them out, and we got A's and B's on academics. Our athletes do well. And it's a lot because of what you emphasize. So I appreciate that. Listen to the words describe your best coach in West Carolina. These are the words that came up overwhelming. Motivating. In middle school, motivating, encouraging, caring, godly, hardworking, and fun. Sounds like a good ride. Thunder Road, they just took it down yesterday, didn't they? I don't have to break my neck anymore. High school, caring, godly, encouraging, motivating. These are words. If you want to, if you're like, what do I want to be like? Well, that's the words they use to describe their best coach. Who is that? Check this out. 2 words describe your least favorite coach. I love this. Don't have a least favorite. I get that lots. I get that from a lot of folks. Strict has favorites. I found that interesting. High school and middle school both said their least favorite shows favoritism. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know, but that's just something they said. Meaning that doesn't push us, doesn't care about winning or losing. Least favorite doesn't care about winning. Unorganized, I thought. High school, unorganized. Mean, easy to anger, unfocused, poor communicator. So, again, those are just some words that you look and go, okay, what do I want to be like? What do I want to avoid? That's what our kids say. And I'm going to tell you something, that's a pretty good survey because we had over 350 kids take that. Says a lot about you guys. A couple things I want to show you before we move on. Who is the best coach you've had in your athletic experience at MCA and why? Check, see if your name's up there. Here's the deal. Sometimes they didn't put a reason, like I said, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Wooten, they didn't put a reason. Some of them I had a lot. And I chose some of the ones that were there. While you read through, listen to this. The one overwhelming word that continued to come up was push. Now again, I'm not saying more go out there and bust them upside the head. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that the best coach and why, when they said that coach, was because they pushed us. So that's what the middle school kids said. And some of them said, well, Coach Plyler, that's the only coach I had. Yeah, I didn't write that down there. You might have been the only coach, that was why you're the favorite. I don't know. But look at the favorites. That's what they said. This is what they said. That's what they said. That's what they said. Middle high school. I got so many, all were good. Dude, pat yourself on the back. If you coach at Metro Carolina, and our kids are saying these things about you. our kids are saying these things about you. Old timer even got on the list. I hadn't coached some of these guys. I was like, oh, that's great. My whole life even made a list. It's amazing. One person even said Dana Bostic. They coached her a long time ago. And I shared that with Miss Bostic. So I think it's important that you know that. And here's what's interesting. A kid can only write one time. So then, who's the most popular? Well, there ain't one. I love that. See, that's part of the body of Christ. It ain't like one person's better than the other. One person dominates. This is overwhelmingly you. And I went through that this summer because I had my daughter and De'Ara Everett pull the info, the numbers together. It just blessed my soul to hear we're doing a good job. And I was like, Lord, thank you. Because this was anonymous. They could have written, we hate your guts. This coach is awful. Get rid of so-and-so. They didn't. And so many overwhelming positive things to say. What recommendations or comments would you give to help advance the athletic department? Because that's what I want to hear. Hey guys, what do you think would help? Middle school, perfect, nothing. I love it. A lot of those. Again, they could have written anything. They're middle school kids. Interesting. Make practice times reasonable. I'm not sure what that means. I really don't. I don't know. Add a track. Boy, I know we want to. More track gets focused more on Christ. And I was like, oh, I didn't want to hear that. But hey, maybe we do need to hear that. Recruit a couple inner city kids. Nice, man! I'm like, I got
To the Lord, baby.
That's what they said. Hey, the kid that wrote that, his position might be taken. And then he's like, don't bring it to me. Have devotions every day. I don't know what that looks like on your team. But that's what they said. The uniforms and equipment for cheer. Okay, cheer, we fixed some of that. Do more service projects. The kids that play need to be disciplined by the coaches, even when the coach turns around. Cursing is unacceptable. That's good. Like, okay, I'll just write it. In high school, it's the best. I had a lot of those. A lot of positives. Then need a track, yes. Recruit players. Might have been somebody's same brother. I don't know. But it came up more than once. That's why I put it here. Closer fields, I know. At lacrosse, I think I had 2 people put at lacrosse. I was gauging that. What do we need to add? 2 people? Probably not. It was something we need to look at. More outreach projects, a different homework plan for athletes. Lighten up. Hey, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you, people that have been around me and the administration and the teachers will tell you, I don't want to hear a teacher holler. And I'll say this when I do their August 14th devotion that morning. The teacher hollers, well, he's missed so much class, he's doing poorly. No, let me tell you, that the data does not support that kids leaving early hurts them academically. The data doesn't support it. I've done it 2 years in a row, every 9 weeks. That's a good theory. Liberals have good theories, but that doesn't mean it's right. I should have said that. That's true. It's like, wait a minute. Because what you find are athletes are really driven people. Athletes are driven. Athletes want to be good. They want to do their best. So I want to share that with you. So that's where we are. All right? That was from the survey. I'll shoot out the numbers if you want to analyze. I will shoot those out after the 14th. So this year, I was inspired through God's Word to do something different. And it is a little different from Ronnie Plowler's traditional thing. I'll share some of the challenges. We want to be more intentional this year. I want to read something to you. It comes out of John chapter 20. So if you get a chance to go home and read this again on your own, it'd be great. John chapter 20, verse 24 through 29. You can finish reading through 31 as the rest of the verse. I'm going to read this to you. Listen to this. Y'all have all heard it. So you'll go like this. I know you've heard it. But catch it. Okay, catch this. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when the Lord came. In other words, the disciples were there. Jesus came, but Thomas wasn't there. Do y'all remember that back a few chapters ago? Because all the disciples were Thomas just didn't have to be there that day. So it brings you back in 24. So the other disciples were saying to him, we've seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see in his hands the imprint of the nails, and put my finger into the place of the nails, put my hand into the side, I will not believe. That's what Thomas said. And I get it. I get it. Verse 26. After 8 days. Not immediately. After 8 days, the disciples were again inside, Thomas with them, and Jesus came. The doors having been shut, and Jesus stood in their midst and said, "Peace be with you." Then Jesus said to Thomas, "Reach here with your finger and see my hands, and reach here with your hand and put it in my side, and do not be unbelieving, but believing." Thomas answered and said, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are they who did not see and yet believed." I want you to focus on two things really from that passage in my mind for us in athletics this year. One is Thomas needed his teacher. He needed a coach. Let me tell you something. Go back and let's think back. Thomas wasn't with the disciples at the beginning, but the disciples already told him, "Thomas, we saw him, we see him. Man, unless I see it, unless I touch it, We know that Jesus showed himself to nearly 500 people, so maybe those 500 people could have said, that wasn't enough. It wasn't enough that his best friends told him. It wasn't enough that other people could have told him. He needed the authority of his teacher, and he needed that relationship. Because you think about this. Jesus loved Thomas enough to come back to him. Because Thomas was not going to believe. As far as the Bible is concerned, I can't read anything to it. What I read is, I'm not believing unless I get to touch his hand and touch his side. So what does that look like to me as a coach? Man, you know the two most powerful words. Greg Neal has said this. When a kid goes home, what do they say? Coach said. Coach said. Coach said. Man, so much authority you guys carry because you're coaches. I don't have to know anything. It's kind of like a dad sometimes. Because dad says it goes. Because mom says it goes. Coach says it goes. Thomas needed his coach. And Christ intentionally came back just for him. I think that's cool. So when God reveals to you this year, because He will, when God reveals to you that there's a kid hurting, are you going to intentionally go to that kid? Christ did. Maybe God reveals there's a discipline problem. You going to go to that kid? Maybe Christ reveals there's a family problem and my kid is involved with that. Be intentional. Go to that kid. And I know, and I'd say this. We need to pray for those situations, but I believe too many times in this culture that I live in, that I believe I'm a part of right now in the history of God's creation, we're praying without legs. We pray without hands. God has already told us sometimes what needs to be done. And we just want to pray. We don't want to do. So I'm going to encourage you, be intentional to do. Second thing too, I see Thomas needed something real. I can see Jesus. I don't think he did it like this. I'd have done it like this. Dude, give me your hand. Touch my hand. Here, give me a hand. Put it by side. This is real. See, he needed something real. Thomas needed something authentic. You think about it, Jesus could have came, because the door was shut, Jesus could have came in a vision. He could have came in a cloud. He could have came in a lot of different ways, right? He came how? In the flesh. He was authentic. He was real. And I think it's so important that we as coaches show our realism in this. I'll tell you this story. Last year, we had an umpire at a baseball game. He was horrible. I'm a dugout coach, okay? But he's still horrible. And I know the guy. And he made a horrible call. It's totally wrong. And I continued to remind him as the game was going, like, Richard, that's horrible. I know you better. You're better than that, Richard. I should have shut my mouth. That was stupid. What a terrible example. But I said it to where he heard me more than once. Richard, I know you better than that. That was awful. I was so low. God's Spirit just jumped all over my back. I called our official register person. I said, hey, can you give me his number? I want to call him. I called Richard and said, Richard, let me tell you something. I am sorry. I acted like a jerk. I was an idiot. I should have never have done that. Never have done that. So I apologize. I said, Richard, you're welcome to come back, and I'm sorry. If you would, please come back and do another game. That next day at the game, or I think it was a game, boys baseball, I said, guys, I'm going to tell you something. Coach Flower was an idiot yesterday. You didn't know that. And you need to know I messed up. None of y'all going to say anything to me about that because that's not your role there. But the Holy Spirit busted my chops last night to the point of I called that official. I apologize. Let me tell you something. As a man, you better do that with your wife someday. Because you will think you're right and you're wrong. And sometimes it don't matter if you're right. Sometimes it don't matter if you're right. You need to go to God and say, I am not wrong. I'm sorry. See, now, that was one time I was real. There's sometimes I probably ain't very real. But that's being real. Showing that, hey, I've got mistakes, I've got flaws. I think it's being authentic by me talking about my relationship with my kids, my wife. Sharing my flaws sometimes. And that's my challenge to you. Be real. Touch my side. I bleed, I hurt. I think kids are looking for that, man. I think they're looking for that authenticity. They are, because I want to tell you what the surveys say, that our kids, when they go home, they're not engaged with their parents. They're engaged with videos. They're engaged. You can look at families going out to eat today, guys. Man, and it's here. You got 4 sitting at the table, and 3 are on this. And the other one's looking at the menu because I don't do them. That's what it looks like today. That's a problem. But here's the challenge. They don't bring video games out on us. We got them for an hour and a half plus where we can be in their grill. It's me and you, and there's no videos. I think that's super. That's special. And we can be authentic. So my desire this year is that we intentionally be real, authentic, God-fearing, God-loving people. Now what? Well, let me tell you what I got. I did 2 things because it's interesting. I talked to coach at the end of the season. I said, hey, what'd you struggle with? What'd you struggle with as far as spiritual leadership? And they got like, well, sometimes I just don't know what to say. And probably some of us have always been in that situation. Well, I'm like, the Lord kind of put something on my heart and said, you know what? Hey, I'm going to be intentional. I had these 10 verses. I'm like, what are 10 verses that I use a lot? There's probably a ton that I use. But I chose these 10 verses that I wanted every athlete to hear during that season. So during your season, you're going to share these at some point. I wouldn't share them all 10 because they'll go over their heads. But guess what? A 3-sport athlete is going to hear these verses how many times? 3. I think that's cool. I think that's super cool. And here's the thing. Sometimes thinking about sharing the verse is about sharing the application. Ryan, would you pass this out too? Jamar, would you help me there? The second part of this, I decided, like, well, okay, so what? I got the verse there, so what? What I did, as you're getting this, I put intentional insights. So, for example, my life verse, Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatever the hand finds to do with all that might. That's my verse. So I put a couple words out there. If you want kids to have more determination, if you want kids to work hard, if you want kids, like, if they're not giving their all their might, I wrote it down. I'm like, athletes should give their all at all times. Training and preparation will allow athletes to perform far greater if they continually do so at 100%. This verse hits this hard. If an athlete has decided to be part of a team, then they should always give their best. Truly, this is honoring to God. So it kind of, some of you, that's not helping. For some of you, it's, I got this. Some of us, I've talked to coaches. Coaches have told me, I struggle with applying the biblical reference to what I'm looking for. No more. I'm being intentional. Here it is. I got 10 verses. And here's how I want this done this year too. You see, the first page that has just the verses, it should have a line out to the side that says date. Here's what's going to happen. Let me take for example. Let's say Coach Parker says, hey, I don't know, maybe you'll go to practice and you're like, man, I don't have anything to share. I'm kind of empty today, which I ain't never known you'd be empty. But let's say you did. Or you just go, you know what, I'm going to have my kids work hard today. Guys, hey, we got these verses we're going to share with all our athletes. And the first one is this, Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, do with all your might. You don't need all that stuff. You can preach that just because that's the way you live. But then I want you to write 8-5, the day you shared it. Now, what does that look like for Coach Jackson? Well, Coach Jackson, I want you to share that too. There's 10 verses. You can share 58. I don't care, but I want you to share these 10. What does that look like for you? As an assistant, it looks like this. Maybe if Coach Parker leads like that, maybe you go and you say, hey guys, you remember what he said? Maybe you got the defense. Ecclesiastes 19. We're going to do it with all my might. We're going to do it. We're going to put it off. So that means that day, 8-5, you do that. Or you know what? Maybe you go, God, I don't have enough to share. But 2 days from now, I'm going to remind my boys of that verse. So maybe it's 8-7 you write that. But here's the deal. I want to be intentional. We're going to share these 10. If you want to share 50, great. Share these 10. If you want to share 150, great. Share these 10. Because I'm reminded in Isaiah 55, as the sun, as the rain, the snow comes down, and it waters the earth, God says that in verse 10. Verse 11, so shall my word that is sent forth not come back void. I believe that. It's got to go forth for anything to happen. So those are 10 verses. So everybody at the end of the season should turn this in. Put your name and put the month, the day you shared. If you're done in September, if you want to turn it in, I'll take it. It don't matter to me. But if you want to wait till October, either way. Okay? Any questions on that? I hope this helps. I hope it helps. Some of you may help more than others. I don't know. And because I hadn't written the book, I haven't written a lot of stuff. I do write devotions I'll send you every Sunday night, and I hope it encourages you. But that's my shot at Ronnie Plowder being intentional. That's my shot. Last thing I have, and I will take for 2 minutes, is some handbook insights. I know I'm making a crazy transition, but I'm going to be done here in just a second. I know all of you signed off and read the handbook. I'm sure you read every letter of the handbook. I just want to pop through a couple of these that I know hit us, because it's amazing. I'll still get asked, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? So let me hit a couple things. Attendance. If a kid's gone half a day from school, they can't practice and play that day. Period. If a kid's not here for half a day, they can't practice and play. Period. As a coach, Andrew Kell setting up groups, you will get the attendance every day from Brenda Harkey. So, I know, Coach Langley, God, with all the guys you got, Coach Parker, y'all might want to say, hey, you got your group, you got your side, or I don't know if you want to take all that, but if there's a kid out, it might be, hey, I saw you on Airslist, what's up? Oh, just that you knew, John Wilson, just that you would say that to a kid that you knew. Oh, he cared enough that he would see my name, and he cares enough to find out, oh, I had this for. Oh, cool, you got the carrots? No, keep brushing. Whatever. But it's just, that attendance hits us all the time. If a kid gets in school without suspension, they can't play, period. Don't call and say, oh, this kid's a good boy. Well, if he's a good boy, you shouldn't have to. Texting and emailing. I would not do that with an opposite sex. And it says you should refrain. It does not say you cannot, but I would refrain. Things can be interpreted poorly. Don't let it happen. Or text a parent also. Or send a team text. Or send team email. You got to be careful. We know we do. Things can be misinterpreted. If I send you a long text, it's probably because I just want to have fun or just terrorize myself. Because I would much rather call. I'd much rather call. I'd much rather you call me too, unless it's like, hey, how many pieces of pizza you bring you? I can take 4. But otherwise, I just soon talk on the phone. We're going to produce another social media policy because of this. We've got some pages out there that are MCA this, Facebook this, Facebook this. We're going to get rid of those. I'm going to send that out and give us a deadline because then we've got those out there. We have parents that want to produce these pages that show off our team. We got to rein that in because if it's got our logo, our name on it, that means we endorse it, and we got to have parents running that show. You understand that? Mm-hmm. Thomas Langley runs our Twitter. If you want something he will get it up there like that. You got a picture you want to put an announcement, you shoot to him, he'll get it up there like that. Lindsay Calloway runs our social media, Facebook. You give it to her, boom. And when I shoot you the policy, which will be by the end of the week, I'll shoot you Thomas's email address. And is that how you want to email us?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, I'll shoot you Lindsay Calloway. You want something published, it's going to go through them. If you've got a page out there, we've got to rein it in, and I get it. I get it. Even if you do it great, it's going to be great. Communication, I got 3 words: early, often, and accurate. You do it early, you do it often, and you're accurate. You'll never have a problem communicating. I got a great cartoon, but I don't have time to share that. Leadership opportunities. Make sure you get some service time with your kids. They told us they want it. You need to make it happen. Athletic GPA 2.0. If you have 2.0 or better, you can play. Well, they're changing the numbers. I think they're going to like a 60 to 70 is a D, and 70 to 80 is a C. And, yeah, we're changing that number because the state's changing. So we're not going to put our kids at disadvantage. That doesn't change GPA though. Okay? So it doesn't matter about the number, it's the GPA. And again, you guys have been here a long time. We don't have many kids that hit that. We don't. I'll let you know if they're in jeopardy. We'll do our best. Fees, Coach Kel's going to talk about that. Music. If this guy, man, I went to a great concert. Trip Lee, the rapper, was there last night, along with Jesus Culture, Hillsong, Carrie Joe, Lauren Daigle, David Crowder Band. 5 hours of praise and worship. The Trip Lee rapped it out. I love good rap music. That's just how I grew up. If there's a vulgar word in your rap music, no, they don't have words. Don't play it. I don't care. Don't play it. And you should screen kids. Maybe why don't you listen to it? I love this. Let me hear it. Dude, is that the kind of stuff you want to put in your mind? Come on, think about it. Garbage in. What's that? Garbage out. Let's deal with it. That's a good time to sharpen. God reveals that to us. Practices. Be punctual. Start on time, but even more importantly, end it on time. Why do you say, I got something important? No, yours is not as important as that mama who's got to get their child to dance at 7:30. And she's going to give her kid, you know what, in the car. Why did you leave it? Coach said. Coach said. Can't do that. You got to end it. We want to put it in this press. You got to end it. Pray 2 minutes till. Tell you, if you run over, hey, start praying 2 minutes till. If you let them go early, like 2 or 3 minutes, ain't going to be no problem. You hold them later, you hold them late, there's going to be problems. I'm just telling you. I hear about it. I'm done. So, hey, here's the deal. Coach Kell's going to come up. He's got several things he's going to share. Ryan and Matt are going to come up. They got some things to share. I'll be here afterwards. Man, I tell you, I love you. I will be praying for you. Listen, if you got something special you want to share, you want me to pray for, I'll keep it confidential. But I will pray for you. I texted Thomas, Andrew, Lisa, and first day. Brett, the first day, because I thought about them Sunday night. I was sitting there and I'm like, man, those guys are starting tomorrow. And I know y'all we've been doing things all summer, but I know they started Monday. And it's like, Lord, everybody wants to get started. But when I go to crank my car, if it don't start, I got problems. I got problems starting, I got problems. I pray they start well. And I think God will be glorified. You know what I pray? I pray too. Here's what I pray for y'all. I pray for this for y'all. That our passion for the Lord and our passion to communicate His truths through athletics grows at a steady blue heat. You know, blue is where it's the hottest. It's not where the oxygen hits it. I pray that will just grow so much. I'm praying for you. We're going to have a great year, and I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Ryan or Andrew?
All right, little transition here. I have my handbook, he has his, so we're going to end with that. But just a couple things I want to go over with you guys. Some of this is review, but return to play. When an athlete gets hurt and they go to the doctor, they must have a note to go back. Okay, it's very important. And if you're unsure of what happened or what's going on, you can call me, ask me questions, but we need to know. It's the school policy, and it's also protection from you and me to put kids in, and it shouldn't be there, right? Physicals. We should all pretty much know this. Just review your physical. Their kid's physical expires 1 year from the time they got it. If they got it on January 1st, 2014, it expires on January 1st, 2015. That's when it expires. So your kids need to get it before then to participate. If they do not have an updated physical, they cannot participate. We've got to do that. We've got to. It's like so important, and it also protects you and protects the school. So, and the kid. So any issues with that, let me know. Happy to answer any questions about it. Also, kids are going and getting these weird things like a wellness visit or something. It's not a physical. If there's any question, it doesn't look like a physical, please see me, please see Andrew. And we can let you know. So, that's real important. Okay? Also, concussion impact testing. We've got to get these through. I've already done several. We've done a lot of football. Pretty much, I think we've done with all those. But there's still some. We got soccer coming up, scheduled for August the 6th. The cheerleaders on the 29th for makeups. So I need to confirm that. So if I'll see you afterwards and we can kind of touch base. And then tennis is scheduled for the 19th of August. And volleyball, we have that down, 4:30 on the 8th. And then cross country, if you can see me afterwards, we'll touch base. Injury reports. These are the reports that you have to fill out if a kid gets hurt from the school. They're carbon copied. And so the school has these. If you have a kid that gets hurt and there's any significance, if it's a fingernail, okay. But if it's a real injury, then we have to fill this form out. A lot of times, I will fill it out if I'm dealing with a situation I'm there. But if I'm not there and you're a coach and it happens where you're there on your time and you're away or whatever, like we've got to fill these forms out. And you basically, have to turn it back in. And we have to get the parents to sign it. It's real important. So if you have one of those instances, it's great to turn it back into me and I'll help funnel it to the school because that way I know about it. And that way I know that this kid, because there are times where parents wondering why I didn't call them. It's because I didn't know about it. So I want to know if we have an injury so we can follow up with these. And communication is essential for injuries as well. Like if a kid doesn't have communication and their parents don't have communication when they get hurt, there's an issue. And the parents can get really upset. And it can protect everybody if we communicate well. But we have to know about it, right? And we have to fill out these forms too, because it also helps the parent, because they have supplemental insurance that they can get from these forms. Any questions about that? Happy to answer. And also, we are doing, and we kind of did this last year as well, they're called emergency contact folders. We're going to have emergency contact folders for all the head coaches. And what it's going to have in there is your information about your athlete. It'll have their contact information. It'll have their allergy information. And so this folder goes with you everywhere. Games, home games, away games, all those. Just keep it in your bag always. If a kid gets hurt and I'm not there, it's an away game or whatever, they can take that form and give it right to the EMS and they will have, it's a better way because they'll have the updated information about how they can treat that kid faster and better. And that's what we need to do because kids turn in their medical histories to us. So we need to be prepared to give it out. So everybody's going to have a folder, and we're going to work on that. Once we get your rosters down, we're going to work on getting that to you guys. And any questions about that, let me know. But you should have that information. And then at the end of the season, you'll turn those folders back into us so we can reuse them for other sports. Okay? Any questions about that? Any of that? All right. Also, the EAP, the Emergency Action Plan, which is I'm going to go over some highlights for that. We need to talk about just some review. I'm going to email you guys the full version of the Emergency Action Plan, and I want you just to email me back that you've reviewed it and read it. Okay? So I put a date down here, like in a week, like August the 7th. So just saying that you reviewed it. You may have a question. You can email me that too. So, but you will have a copy of it as well, a hard copy. We're going to give it to you in your folders. So you'll have that. And just to go over that, a couple of the big highlights. We always have this question come up every year about weather and stuff like that. So we need to talk about that. First of all, when you have an injury, we're going to call 911. The first thing we're going to do if it's significant. If you see right away it's really bad, any potential fractures or anything like that, and I'm not in the immediate area, the first thing we're going to do is call 911. I want you to notify me and the athletic director, Mr. Plyler. So we're going to make sure the athlete is taken care of first. That's our first priority, right? If you know it's really serious, you're going to call 911 right away. Then we're going to have somebody direct them to where to come. We're going to have people flagging them down, making sure those gates are unlocked. It's essential that we know what to do in an emergency. So I can't always be everywhere, but I want to know about it, obviously. But the first thing is we're going to take care of that athlete, especially if it's off campus. We need to know how to still respond. Okay? All that's in here as well, but just good review. Always a good review. Other things, there's also maps in here, that kind of stuff. You guys know the addresses, but it's in here for you. Heat policy. It's so important to make sure that we understand that heat is a very big, real issue. It can kill an athlete if we do not take it seriously. So, it's important to remember when we're extreme heat out there. I know a couple of coaches have been really good about checking with me, is it too hot to run today or whatever, when should we do? Those are all great questions. It's real important. In the policy, it has like, hey, if the heat index is a certain level, we need to be careful of our times. We have to adjust practice. Sometimes it's required. Sometimes it requires us to take water breaks every 20 minutes. And I know it's a pain, but it's, it's prevention. That's one reason I'm here, is preventing these things. And that's why we want to make sure that we're doing it. So, if an athlete is losing significant water, basically you need to know that it takes 1.5 times the amount of water to replace that. So if they've lost like 3% of their body weight or whatever, you've got to really start replenishing. That's why it's so important to keep hydrated before and during the practice. If you notice that an athlete is really struggling, they're disoriented, or they're really having a hard time, they're not looking normal after they've been working out, then we need to pull aside, give them the shade, and obviously consult me, or if I'm not there, start getting them, drenched with water as needed, and drinking fluids. Okay, lightning policy. Lightning policy is very important. If you hear thunder, it's coming. And so it's the second leading fatality in North Carolina for weather. And so we have to follow this policy, and it's very important to protect our kids. The deal is, if you hear the thunder, you have to flee. Flee. 30 minutes. Sometimes you see the lightning before you hear the thunder, but if you're hearing it, we need to go, because the lightning can still hit someone with thunder. It's been proven that it's close enough to still affect it. So we got to follow that policy. Okay, so that's the policy. So we need to wait 30 minutes. Where to go if you're on the fields, out in the main fields out there, fans are going to go to the cars, athletes will go in the locker rooms. Obviously, if you're in the building, you're safer if you're dealing here. But in the fields, that's what we're going to do. We're going to announce that. Okay? So any questions about that, let us know. And real quick, almost done here. Concussions are real. They're everywhere, and everybody's tired of hearing about them, I'm sure, but they're still important for us to review and talk about. Any symptoms, any head injuries, we have to deal with them. We cannot let athletes play with a headache. If the symptom, we got to figure out why they have that headache, and that's why I'm here to help evaluate those things. We need to make sure that they are clear to go back. There are different reasons you have a headache. Just because you have one doesn't mean they will sit out, but they don't need to be playing with one if they got hit and they start having a headache. Okay, so we need to figure out why they have that headache, and that's up to me to kind of evaluate that. So if any kid has symptoms of head injuries, we need to evaluate that. Okay, and they have to go to the doctor a lot of times if it looks like it is what it is, and we have to have a note to go back. It's the law. It's just the way it is in school policy. So that can include headaches, dizziness, all kinds of symptoms, but they're just feeling like they're not right. But if you have any questions about that, happy to answer it. I do not want to keep kids out. I want to keep them in the game. I mean, it makes everybody's life easier, and everybody wants to keep playing. But also, we're here to make sure that they're safe. So, y'all have questions for me. I'm happy to answer anything afterwards. I know we're trying to finish up and some more people talk, but I'm happy to answer anything you have. So, anything real quick? Anybody? Okay. Thank you so much.
I want to thank, as Andrew comes up, this is Ryan's second year. He cares about our kids. He loves our kids. He's thorough on paperwork. He may get on your nerves and says, hey, this kid ain't ready to play. As a coach, it's like, what are you talking about? He's got to be ready to play. Last year, my son fell, and I saw him, and he was kind of, his eyes were big on the basketball court. He flew like 2 balls away. That was a little uncommon, maybe 1, but not 2 in a row. And I'm like, dude, he looks like he's messed up. And so I was like, I think he's had a concussion. I'm like, dude, you'll be all right. But it's like, I'll be all right. It's like cross-eyed. And I said, he missed the last bit of the basketball season. But that was the right thing to do. I'm not going to trade a kid's life for a stupid game. That's ridiculous. But I want to thank Ryan for coming and being part of what we're doing. He does a great job. And also, I know you know this guy. What a great help. He's come on board real quick. And I'm looking forward to having him next to you, Andrew Kell. So you go with me. Yes, sir.
Well, I want to say that I'm excited to be part of the athletics department. I'm here to serve you guys. I want to make your job easier. I want to do my job effectively, and I want to do it without error. I put folders in front of you, and immediately all of us opened it, thumbed through it, found their schedules, and started looking through it. Please do that after. Please make sure that head coaches, I put a calendar in there. That calendar has practices, it has meets, it has head-to-head competitions. Please go through and make sure that all of those times, dates, etc. are correct. If they're not, I want to make sure that I change them so that we can update the website and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I want to make sure that I'm helping you guys do your job. Right? It's the first time I've been on the other side of the coin here, asking Miss Braswell, hey, can we have the gym here? And she said no. And you're like, dude, what in the world? Why can't I have the gym? There's so many other coaches and so many other things that go on here, and we're all sharing those facilities and working hard together. And I want to make sure that I make that part of your job, scheduling, relaying information, all that kind of stuff, easier on you guys. A lot of us have tryouts coming up, and some of our teams already have our rosters. I need your roster by August 7th. Some of you, your tryouts end August 6th. So that means I need them the next day. Football and those kind of things, many of you I've already reached out to and you've sent me those rosters. Please make sure as new students come in, I'm getting new physicals and those kind of things. Shoot me a roster again by August 7th once your team is finalized. It's important for RenWeb, like Mr. Plowler talked about, making sure that you're getting emails for those kids in attendance, and also for Schedule Star and everything we do with that, and creating football programs and sending rosters to other schools. So August 7th, big day. Transportation, a couple things here. Please have the students clean the buses each and every single trip. Mr. Tony Whitson does his best to go behind us and clean up, but that should just be a quick sweep, or he uses a big blower and just blows it all out the back of the door. But if you're letting your kids eat on the bus, they need to clean up after themselves. Second thing is return the keys. Right? I'm not going to point fingers or whatever. Some coaches who like to keep the same keys all season long. When there's other coaches that might need that bus, we do have spares, but at the same time we're having to say, okay, who had that bus back in January and still has the key? Let's make sure that we turn those keys in. As I try to keep you guys with the same bus as much as possible, but just looking at it, some of the things coming up at the church, we have a lot of keys exchanged, or you're taking one bus 1 week, one the next. Okay, so let's make sure that we turn those back in. Facilities, we need to be good stewards of the stuff that we have. Okay, volleyball equipment, we need to make sure that we lock it up. Cheerleading mats, make sure that they're wrapped up, put away in a proper manner. Everybody and their mother has a key to the FLC closet. We need to make sure that we're keeping tabs on how much stuff we have. Count them. I put 20 balls in one volleyball basket at the end of each practice. It's easy to do it that way, right? Your team can find a different system and do something with yours, but we need to make sure that we're taking care of that stuff. Like the other day, Mr. Plyler and I are getting a football sled off the back of the trailer, right? And what do? We drop it, okay? He's got the injury on his leg to prove.
It wasn't because of lack of strength. It was a piece that was dangling.
And anyway, I mean, that man took a metal sled right for the leg, and like I said, we just need to make sure that we're taking care of those kind of things, whether it's breaking down the equipment or putting it away. We need to make sure that we're being good stewards. Same thing with the facilities. Cross country volleyball, we got people in the FLC changing in those locker rooms, maybe making sure that we take having a coach go through. They take care of those locker rooms, or they clean them out, that kind of stuff. Same thing with all your gear. A lot of the kids want to leave everything right there by the door. Let's push that back further down that hallway towards the kitchen so it's not so crammed coming in that door. So again, let's take care of that. Grades. A couple dates right there. They're not exact, but they're pretty close. Mr. Mack wasn't sure yet, but September 23rd is about the 4.5-week mark. Mr. Plyler mentioned the 2.0. All right, early in the school year shouldn't be an issue, but just want to make sure that you're aware of that, and report cards. Why is that important? If there is an issue on September 23rd, that's a 1-week suspension. Okay, 5 school days. If there's an issue on October 19th, that's 15 days suspension. Okay, so again, making sure that we stay on top of those things, encouraging those athletes to do their work during their assignments. Athletic eligibility. There's several forms that each athlete and their parents need to fill out. All of these are done electronically online under athletics and forms and resources on our website. Zero paper should be involved in that. On the same day, August 7th, a $150 charge will be charged to their account. When you send me those rosters, I'll forward those to Ms. Jackson. She will charge their account for that sport. Football will be a $300 charge. So please make sure that they are aware of this. And also keep this in mind. Some of you are doing spirit packs and things like that. It's easy when I do soccer in the spring, and a lot of my kids have played other sports, and I can get a couple extra shirts. But if I'm paying $300 and I got another kid playing or doing cheerleading or whatever other sport across the country or something like that, now we're tacking on an extra $50, $75 for spirit packs and those kind of things. Let's just be mindful of those in those families. The emergency contact folders, Ryan mentioned, please make sure that you are keeping those with you at all times, as he said, just so that they have information that they need for allergies and those kind of things that they need to treat. Parent player pledge. These are due. That's part of all that athletic eligibility stuff. Mr. Plyler mentioned earlier about going through and reading the handbook. One thing I did this year, I was getting these forms saying, yeah, I checked off this initial assignment, but half of those kids, probably because they said they weren't going to be able to play until they did that, just signed it. I would encourage you to actually read this, because some of the parent things that it says, I will refrain from calling out instruction to my child or approaching the bench during a game. I'm like, dude, if they signed that, that would have been awesome to know. And be like, wait a minute, you said you weren't going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you know what's on here, or like a student, let's see, I will be on time to practices. I will listen and follow my coach's instruction. I will show respect to the opposing athlete. I will use maximum effort. You know, all those kind of things that he's talking about, you can incorporate these devotions, but at the same time, if you know what they signed off on, you can say, wait a minute, let's go back to this, right? So again, you might have your own rules and policies, and a lot of them might fall in line with this, okay? But now we have something that we can all fall back on, and we can say, here's what we said we were going to do. What are we actually doing? Okay, so I put that in there just for you guys. Let's see. Pictures, September 2nd, okay? We need to be organized. We need to be prompt. I know football is doing theirs in just a second, or a couple days, August 6th, right? In the evening. But cross-country, volleyball, tennis, all of these teams, we're doing all of those in one day. If you look on there at the back, there's a schedule. It's easy to get your team done within that time, right? The biggest issue or team that's going to be the hardest is cross-country. There's so many of us on that day, coach. Maybe no one going ahead, start organizing. They're going to give you a little sticker with each kid's name, right? Help them out. Make sure that each kid gets that sticker so that after they do tennis and stuff, they come out and you're ready to do those individuals and get through. Because after they do cross country, they still have to get over to the field. So you see the schedule on there. They've got all the different times and locations. And with the ordering, everything is done online. So no more forms and anything like that for you. Directions to games. I need your help here to go back and double check. I try to do my best and go through and make sure that all the directions are the same. But cross country, maybe they ran at some course last year. Now this year they're going to run at a different course. So if it's Southlake, go to our website, help me double check. Okay, is that where the Southlake coach or AD said this is where they're doing their cross-country meet? Tennis is the same thing. A lot of their stuff is off campus. Football, most of them should be at their site, but again, it never hurts to have one of your coaches or you go back and double check just to make sure. We don't want grandma coming to the one game this year and she went to our site and clicked on the directions and she's 5 miles down the road and doesn't know where everyone is. So just go ahead and take the time to go through those, double check what I've done. I tried to go to their websites, put in that address and all that kind of stuff, but please double check that. And finally, or one of the last things here, practices and schedules. Again, look over that calendar. Please let me know if there's any corrections. This is important for myself, people who use Carolina courts. If we cancel a practice and we reserve that court, very important. I know also with Lake Park football, sometimes if there's a day you're just going to give them off or you're going to do film instead, make sure that I know so that we can contact and get reimbursed for those times and things that we've reserved.
Clearly, I got a lot to talk about. So I'm probably excited about that, so that's good. Really, I wanted to echo what they kind of said, Mr. Plyler and Mr. Kell, and Ryan too. I mean, I'm here to serve y'all. That's what I'm here for. That's my role. I know that I kind of at the complex, and that's kind of the place where you'll see me the most. But however I can serve you, I want to do that. So that's kind of what I wanted to share quickly with y'all. But also, as Mr. Kell touched on with facilities and being a good steward, he was kind of mainly talking about some of the things here with the gym and the volleyballs and all that. But we also want that to carry over to the complex. So with football and soccer and cheerleading and all of those things that happen out in the complex, we want everybody to be good stewards of that. And I think that starts at the top. We need to model that. We need to model good stewardship. We talked about this in our meeting the other day, that comes from an attitude of thankfulness, an attitude of gratitude. I know that's kind of cliche or whatever, but an attitude of thankfulness. Because I think until we're thankful, we won't actually be good stewards of what we have. Because a lot of times I think we can complain about the facilities, we can complain about the things that we have or don't have, but when we become thankful about it, we can actually be faithful and actually be good stewards of the things that God's given us. So I just want to touch on that. Again, I'm actually going to write my number on the board for those of you that need it. You can get it from Mr. Plyler or Mr. Kell. They have my number, but I think it's good for all of y'all to have it just in case y'all need me for anything. And I'll just write that up there in a minute. But thank y'all.
Hey, and I tell you, Matt, I love one thing he told me the other day. He goes, I just got to get, we're talking about a certain situation, I just got to get him to trust me. I love that because he will take care of stuff. He will take care of things for you. You ask him, you trust him. I love that. So thankful to have Matt with us. And I'll tell you something else you may not know, but you will get to know. Erin Parker, would you stand up? She's standing right now. I love her and her husband. I love her and her husband. Husband Scotty had 3 boys, just a godly family, involved heavily at Hopewell. She's come on and she's helping with athletics and administrative things within the school office. So, you know, athletics brings in a lot of money on a daily basis. People sending checks, and I had a guy call me today wants to donate money. But those are things that she's going to help take care of on that end, as well as help on a day-to-day basis as well. So just thankful to have Erin Parker with us. Just so grateful to have her. But my watch says 8 o'clock. I told you I'd be punctual. I'm going to pray. If my prayer goes over a minute, I'm not going to apologize. But I appreciate you. If you have questions, stay with me and ask. God bless you. Take these waters home. Miss Parker brought these in the candies. Take them home and y'all eat them. There we go. Let's pray. Father God, I thank you for these people. Lord, they're the servants that are going to be in front of the kids on the front lines every day. They're going to be the people where parents, other people are going to question. They're going to come at them. Lord, I'm hoping they're prepared for the battle, because it's going to come. But Lord, what a joyful thing that you would count us worthy of a calling of coach. Lord, they called you rabbi, teacher. God, they didn't have the word for coach. But I know that coach is a teacher. Father, I pray for these folks that hearts will be softened, but our spirits will be strengthened. And that God, that their families would spend the quality time, even as we're apart from each other, that their families, these husbands and wives represented in here, would have quality time with you together. That God, even though they're away from their physical families, you would strengthen the bond because I ask it in your name, Jesus. I pray, too, these coaches would be so intentional this year to bring your word to these kids, to model, to be real, to be authentic, and also, Lord, to be authoritarian where they need to be. Lord, we love you. Thanks again. Pray blessings that you redeemed the time they gave tonight for this meeting. In your name, Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen.